What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Kayla if you're new here, and if you're a returner, welcome back. So today I wanted to share formula feeding tips and formula feeding rules, I guess you can say. And I'm really excited about this because I know as a new mom, I started off breastfeeding and then I started going into formula, and I was very scared. I was crying for like a week. I didn't know much about it. I didn't know the rules, whatever the case may be. And I was looking for that one video that just kind of explained it all, knock it all down for me. And now being a formula feeding mom and have done it for months now, I can officially say that I am very confident in what I know, and I'm excited to share it. So let's get into the video. So the first thing when it comes to shopping for formula, it doesn't matter which formula you choose. Definitely choose the formula that works for you and your baby. I chose this one because it was kind of like popular and I wanted to try it. But you do want to pick something and stick to it. You do not want to constantly switch it all up and change it up, because they're already learning how to just like use their gastrointestinal tract. And so if you're constantly switching things up or like doing so many, it's very painful for them, and it causes a lot of like constipation or just pain and different things. So doctors always say, no matter what you're gonna do, just do it and stick to that routine. So the first thing when shopping for formula is checking the expiration date. I never even take a formula can home if I have not checked the expiration date and made sure that it is okay. You just never know. Same thing that we would check for ourselves. I might look at milk, hey, let me see, or bread, let me see. Do the same exact thing for your baby's food, Not only do I check the expiration date, but I also look around and make sure there's no holes or any signs of it being open. At the top, it should always be sealed with this thing that you pop open and that's how you know, okay, it's a-okay. The reason for no holes too is because it will spoil if left open, but also, where did it get the hole? Does that mean the formula is contaminated? All those different things. So you do not want to have a formula that looks like completely crazy, like it just went through the gutter. Okay. All right, so when you finally make it home and you're like, all right, time to feed my baby, you're gonna open it up, take that thing off that I showed you, the seal. This one's already open, and you are going to see a scooper in there. And so for Enfamil, you always wanna read everything. I remember when I first started, I was reading every single direction, everything in fine print. I was trying to make sure that I knew exactly what I was doing. So you just open it up, and honestly, the scooper is like the measuring cup. And so, for Enfamil in particular, I don't know, depends on which one you're using, but for Enfamil's brand, 1 scoop is for 2 ounces. So if I'm making 4 ounces, I put 2 scoops, stuff like that. Once you open one of these, they are only good for 30 days. So you have to use an open formula tin within 30 days, or it goes bad and has to go in the trash. Now, realistically, if you're completely just formula feeding like we do, you're never gonna reach a point where you have it for 30 days and have to throw it away. I mean, we go through these formula tins probably 1 every 5 to 7 days. Our baby does eat a lot, I must say, but it still is like, you go through them where the only way you would reach 30 days and had not used it is maybe if you're also breastfeeding, or you're kind of just throwing this in there sometimes. But other than that, you're gonna run through these and they do kind of cost quite a bit. So I would look at like your city's resources and stuff like that if possible to just help out, because I know based on us, we do spend a grip on formula. But we love it. All right, next thing. So the next thing is obviously when you have your bottles, you always want to make sure, and I didn't even add this when I was talking about the formula because I'm jumping so much, but honestly, every time you're touching your child's bottles or the formula or anything like that, you definitely want to make sure that you wash your hands, even if you've just been chilling at home, because you don't know what you might have touched on or anything like that. And we want to make sure that we're being very sanitary for our babies, right? Because there's so many different things that babies can get that might be little to us but are very severe. Now that she's getting a little bit older, it's kind of like, I still worry a lot about germs, but it's not to the extent of when she was a week old, 3 weeks old. You know what I mean? You kind of like ease up a little bit because of the fact that it's like, okay, they're getting older, they're being exposed to germs outside now, like little things like that. So just always washing your hands recommend. But let's move on to the bottles. So when it comes to the bottles, when filling it, the water that we like to use, and I've said this in A couple of my other videos is the Parents' Choice distilled water. They come in gallons like this. They're legit $1 a gallon. The reason why I like this one is because distilled water has no fluoride. And they say that the no fluoride is good for the babies. I don't know. A lot of doctors recommend so many different waters. Like I've talked to like our doctor and she said tap water. I've talked to another doctor and they said distilled water. You know, my sister has talked to her doctor and they said just regular purified water. So honestly, use the water you like, but I know that that is very easy on my baby's belly. So that's the one we stick to. So after you fill it up, let's say we're gonna do 2 ounces in here, then remember it's 1 scoop of Enfamil, boom. You always wanna make sure that you are putting the water first and then the formula. You never wanna put the formula and then the water because then the measurement is off. And it's very important that you're very accurate. I remember in the very beginning, my man had actually put like a little less or something like that. And it's nothing wrong with doing that per se, unless you're constantly doing that, but you always wanna make sure it's accurate because if you put too much formula and not enough water, it could be very bad for their kidneys. And if you put too much water, it can actually dehydrate them because it causes them to have diarrhea. So it's very important that you're making sure that you're accurately putting the right amount of scoops because it could impact the child. Other than that though, once the water, once the formula is in here, and let's say, let me just make y'all pretend bottle. Okay, fake bottle. It doesn't have the formula in here, it's just water. But anyway, once the formula is in here and the water and they are mixed together, because obviously you shake it, you give a good shake, you mix the powder and the water. And once it's actually their milk, it is good for 2 hours without having to be refrigerated. So you have 2 hours before it needs to go in the refrigerator. Now, the only thing about that is, let's say, for example, your baby decides, you know what, I just want to take 4 sips of it and not finish it. Now you only have an hour. And not an hour for it to go in the refrigerator. You only have an hour completely or it needs to be tossed. And the reason why is because now their saliva has mixed into the formula, which creates bacteria. And if they drink it later, more bacteria has formed. So you just always want to make sure to remember that. So you may be wondering like, okay, what if I'm on the go? So what we use is a formula dispenser and we keep the powder and the water separate until we know, okay, it's mealtime, let's mix them. And that's because if not, you'll be wasting a lot of formula throughout the day. And I don't recommend that because again, it is pricey. Another thing that we've personally never tried, but I know my mom has done it in the past when she formula fed us, and just kind of like it's a little bit more old school, is a formula pitcher. So you make all of the formula that you need throughout the day and you put it in a pitcher, mix it all, and then throughout the day, you're just kind of pouring it from the pitcher into the bottles, how much you need. That also is a way to make sure that you're not just like overly wasting formula. I've personally never done it that way, but I mean, I recommend it because even though I haven't, I know that that's something that definitely works and will allow you to not have to waste formula. And I forgot to say too, it is only good for 24 hours after it's been mixed and even put in the refrigerator. So you want to make sure that even if you mixed it and it is in the refrigerator after 2 hours, you still only have 24 hours to use it. But the reason why is because when you really think about it, your baby drinks so much milk in a day. It's like realistically, you're gonna use it. You're gonna be using the milk bottles that you make. So we've never had a time where it's like we put it in the fridge and had to throw it away or anything like that because she drinks so much milk in a day. Another thing that I just want to add now that we're at the very end of just Formula Feeding 101 is obviously to bottle washing. And I just want to throw in things that I like to use for bottle washing. So when we first brought her home, I was washing every single bottle by hand, and we had like 12 to 13 bottles, and I was washing all of its parts inside of it, every nook and cranny, every nook and cranny. I always say that wrong. I always say nook and cranny, but y'all, don't judge me. Every nook and cranny. And I was just like really, you know, I would stand there for an hour out of a day, maybe even more, just washing bottles. And the soap that I like to use is the Dapper Baby bottle and dish soap. It's very good at just getting stuff off. Also, it's more healthier than just your regular like Dawn that we may use on our stuff or like other dish soap. So I definitely recommend Dapple Baby. But let me put y'all on real quick. I just found this out, and now that she's older, I wanted to stop washing her bottles, right? Because I'm like, okay, you're older, you know, and not only that, like it's so time consuming, and it's like, I know people put their bottles in the dishwasher, so like, why am I still washing it by hand? But I just couldn't let it go. So just a couple weeks ago, literally, maybe like 3, I stopped washing her bottles by hand, and now I found Dapple Baby dishwasher detergent pods, and they're legit. They have 25 packs in them, and they are legit like the real detergent ones, but they're filled with Dapple Baby. Can we get a round of applause? So now I feel much more confident washing her bottles, knowing that even though they're in the dishwasher, they do have Dapple Baby, and we actually on our dishwasher have a sanitizing method, so it is still getting like sanitized and sterilized. But obviously some people stop that after a while anyway, but that was just something that like we continue to do. But overall, y'all, I hope that you enjoyed this video. I know it was a little lengthy and a little bit more serious vibes from me, but it's because I really wanted to share this information. I know that switching to formula can be very scary, even just starting off with formula, and you don't really know like, okay, what can I do? What can't I do? And it's a very scary feeling. And so that's why I just wanted to make sure that I shared what I learned along the way, what helps me. And if y'all have any questions, drop them in the comment box. I'll definitely respond. Make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And stay tuned for the next video because I'm really looking forward to everything that I'm dropping. So I hope that y'all enjoy this. Bye.